fight since your last regular season game between Team USA and preseason, but how are your emotions today compared to a different game or a regular opener?
Yeah, I think anytime that you have the opener of a season, let alone a home opener, like there's just a little bit more emotion to it and excitement, definitely a little anxious, but in a good way. I think every player is going to feel that on both sides. But I think, like I've said this before this week, like opening day can feel so daunting, but in reality, it's another game. It's one step of 44 games we're going to play this year. So just trying to keep it all in perspective and remain in the middle. But I'm very excited.
Well, Chloe, then Annie.
Yeah, this game is the last 4 number 1 picks all playing.
Yeah.
Just what is that like? For you as one of those number 1 picks, just playing against players like Paige and Nacy and with Aaliyah.
Yeah, I think it's great for women's basketball more than anything. The excitement and, this might be the first time this has really ever happened in sports, having 2 number 1 picks on both sides and then obviously in the last 4 years. So I think it speaks to the young talent in this league, how excited fans are about them, how excited fans are about both these teams. Obviously what the league thinks of both these teams having us match up in the first game of the season. And just really excited, and I think they would all say the same as well.
Annie?
Yesterday, Steph was talking about the mentality required when pursuing a title, and it starts on day one. It starts with the habits developed every single day. How would you describe your team's mentality and approach in that respect?
Yeah, I think you got to approach it day by day and game by game. Obviously we say our goal is a championship. Well, that can't happen if we don't come out here and execute tonight and handle business in the way that we need to. And I think that was an area we kind of struggled in last year, and obviously, quite a few injuries really made us go a little up and down. But there were some games that, especially at home, that we had to take care of a little bit better, and just a little inconsistent in that regard. And obviously tonight, you want to get started off on the right note, and I think just approaching it as any other game. This isn't the end all be all, whatever it is, but we're coming out here with the mentality to win, and I feel like our practices have been really good leading up to this point.
Christine, then Kareem.
Yeah. Hey, Caitlin. Your fans obviously are waiting for this moment as much as you have been. Mm-hmm. What do you think this means to them, and how important is it for you to be back, for them, and they've been waiting since July 15th as well. Thanks.
As excited as they are, I'm probably way more excited. That's how much I love this game, how much I missed it, and obviously I've played in the USA basketball stuff, and I've played in the preseason games, but it's a little different when you get to do it for real. And just really thankful more than anything. Obviously last year was a mental grind more than anything. It was, it's hard when you put in so much time in the off season and it doesn't really go how you want it to. And that's basketball, that's life, and you got to find a way to respond. And feel like I've tried to approach every part of adversity in the best way that I can, but it makes me a little emotional that I get to put on my jersey tonight and I get to go play. So more than anything, my goal is just to have fun, enjoy the crowd, enjoy the excitement around this moment, and remind myself I'm prepared as well.
Great.
Hey, Caitlin.
Hi.
When it comes down to both chemistry and timing, this group, the core has been together, but there's some new pieces,
for sure.
And you were gone for a lot of last year. So how do you measure that? How do you kind of get back in that flow, and how do you kind of know, okay, now we're kind of back clicking like you want us to be?
Well, obviously, I think there's still some of that we need to continue to build. Obviously, you add the new pieces like you talked about, one of which is going to be in the starting lineup tonight. And it'll be nice to have Lexi back for us. I think even though I wasn't in the lineup, I think me and Kelsey, and especially AB, we have that chemistry and that connection whether I'm playing or not. I don't think we're going to miss too much of a beat. I think, you need all 5 players to be connected, so it can't just be 3 of us. You need all 5 on the floor, and then whoever's going to sub into the game, every single one of you have to be connected. And I think that's honestly where we struggled versus Dallas the first game, especially on the defensive end of the floor. We were kind of just playing as 5 individuals out there. The communication wasn't great. We weren't really working together, not because, we didn't want to. It was just we hadn't really built that chemistry, or communication wasn't great. So I think that's something we'll continue to improve. You really want to hammer that out in the beginning of the season, but it's going to take us a little bit of time too. But we have had this group, bless you. No, I know how it is. I gotcha.
Struggle is real.
You don't want to hold it in. You just gotta look up at the light, and it makes you sneeze. It's a hack. But I think the 3 of us, Steph pulled us aside, before a couple practices ago, and was like, this is your team. You know, you have to find a way to lead. You have to find a way to get your teammates to come along with you, hold them accountable. You want them to hold you accountable, and you have to hold each other accountable. But this isn't the coaching staff's team. You know, this needs to be our team. This needs to be a player-led team, and I think we're still finding our feet in that too. And I think we've done a good job, but haven't hit a lot of adversity yet. So when we hit adversity, we need to be able to do that as well.
Last two will go down the consider.
Caitlin, I know you mentioned to Malika how last year a tough moment would be like the night before the game when the reality would set in, you're not playing.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, now here on a game day when you are playing, what's like a simple or subtle moment of joy, whether, I don't know, if it's like seeing someone's face or hearing a song or something like that, you know, just kind of makes you feel happy?
Well, usually they play some Lady Gaga for me when I work out pregame, so maybe they'll do that. I don't know. We have a new DJ, so I'm gonna have to have somebody to inform them to play "Applause" by Lady Gaga. They didn't do that for me last year when I was signing autographs, actually. But I think there's just like a different juice inside of your body when you're putting on your uniform and you're mentally locked in to go and play a basketball game. Obviously, like, I was excited for my teammates last year 100%, and I was their biggest fan, but it's not the same. It just isn't, and I think it's more mentally, like, you're mentally preparing, you're mentally locked in, and I missed having the butterflies in my stomach before a game. Like, I love that, and that means you're ready. So just go out there, enjoy the moment, and really excited to be back out there.
Last one.
Hey Caitlin, throughout the time that you were away rehabbing, not able to play, was there any words of wisdom or just phrases that someone close to you said that now that the day is finally here you can play is in the back of your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody in like those moments can, like, you know, everybody always says like, yeah, this will, you know, be behind you and this is going to help you and blah, blah, blah. But I think like preparing for this game is like looking back, like this is what somebody told me, is like, that helped me be prepared for this moment right now. Is everything that I went through last year, and I don't want to make it seem like it was the worst thing ever because people go through a lot worse than what I went through. I think it was just the mental challenge of it all, and you know, obviously the microscope that I'm under, and everybody wants me to be out there, and then I want to be out there, and it's like, why does this keep happening? But I think that like has prepared me for this moment, those mental challenges, those mental battles, and you're going to face those in the game too. So, you know, just trying to keep my mind, you know, right in the middle, and you know, don't get too high, don't get too low. But I think it's, you know, all the moments that were last year has prepared me for right now.